All right, hi guys, this is Matt Ripley, and the tool that I'm choosing to share today is Quizizz. I've heard some folks compare it to Kahoot and a few others. I've not used any others. Quizizz is something that I've used for several years now. It's a free option. Obviously, there's also paid tiers that unlock different things that can make it a little more advanced. But everything that I need to do, I can do on the free version of this. And so that's Quizizz with one Z in the middle, two Z's on the end. I get that backwards sometimes. So let's log in here, and I'll show you a couple different things that it can do. One thing is you can look up content. You don't necessarily have to create. You can also create different content and save it and use later on down the road. You can save other people's content as well. So when you first get into Quizizz, this is the main screen here. You've got your library where your shared uh, classes, courses can be saved to, things like that. Reports from past quizzes that you've assigned and done. So let's say I don't have time to create anything. I just want to get on here. I want to find something for my students to do. So I teach sixth grade math. So that's what I'm going to look up here is sixth grade math. And so it's going to pull up a lot of different options here of different quizzes that we can use. You can go for most relevant. You can go with one that's been most recently created, some that's been most played. One thing that I do recommend whenever you look for this, whether it's social studies, science, ELA, a lot of different things, lots of different quizzes on here, even fun quizzes. I like to give kids like a Disney quiz, modern music quiz, movies quiz, logo, all kinds of stuff on here. Anybody can create quiz on here, not just teachers. So there's a lot of options on here. But anyway, so I'm going to do sixth grade math. And so one thing that I would recommend though is looking over here at the preview, because sometimes when I first started using this, I would just click on the first thing that I saw and not really look at the questions. And then I realized that maybe it wasn't worded the way that I word some of my questions. Maybe it didn't ask some of the questions in a way that I wanted it to, the way that I teach it. So I would definitely recommend looking at the preview over here. And just for the sake of the video, let's say that this is going to work. So I'm going to choose this quiz here. I could assign this as homework through Google Classroom. If I pay for the paid version, I can assign this on Canvas. That's something that our district has just really started using is Canvas. And so I've considered using BEP money or something to upgrade to the paid version to be able to integrate this straight into Canvas. So I'm not really 100% sure on how that works. So I'd be really curious to hear from someone if maybe they have got the paid version and have integrated it into Canvas. But so it's a 20 question quiz. And so I can see through here what the different options are for some of these and the time that they give them to answer the question. So each question is timed, and the faster that they answer it, the more points they get. So let's take a look here. So I want to start the live quiz. I'm in my classroom with my students, and I'm going to go with this classic version. And now a couple different things you can do from here. The classic version is every man for himself. Each kid is on a laptop or a smart device, and they're their own person. One thing that is new to Quizizz in the last little while is that you can use teams, and I've found that towards the end of the school year when we were reviewing for end of year testing, the kids really enjoyed the team option. They could work together. Sometimes I would do two big teams. I would divide up the kids based on how many, 3, 5 teams. So it just depends on how many kids you have in your class. So let's just go with the classic basic version here. And so I'm going to scroll to the bottom, and you can do a lot of different things. I'll let them see the leaderboard on my main board. They like seeing who's in first, but it'll also show that on their laptop if you leave that selected. If not, they don't have to see the leaderboard. I do like the questions to be shuffled just in case they're sitting next to somebody as well as the answers, and they can't just look that over. Also, recently new is redemption questions. I'll leave this on just because it gives it more of a video game aspect. They miss a couple later on if they've gotten enough right, or they've gotten enough right in a row. They can come back to the end and have another shot at getting those ones they missed the first time through. They can get them right. And then also with your right and wrong answers are these memes. I always just select random. I've never really gone into depths with this, but it'll show a meme, good ones for obviously when they get it right, and funny ones whenever they get it wrong. So let's go to continue here. And so this is what would come up on my smart board. I would project this onto my main board in my classroom. The kids would go to this Quizizz website on the main website, or they could follow that link in their web browser, and it'll ask for a code. And so they will type in this code, and it will take them to join this quiz. And so I'm going to click on the link here. And so the link will bring me just what they would see. And whenever I go to Quizizz, after following that link or type it in Quizizz, it will be where I can type in my name or my team name. And so let me see if this thing is going to load. And what they'll do is they'll type that number in and they'll type that name in. That link should take me straight over to that. Technical difficulties here. Let's see if I can follow it again. There we go. And so normally, to prevent any kind of over silliness, I would have them use their real name. When we get towards the end of the year and we're playing for fun, I'll allow them to use fun names, but just something to prepare yourself for whenever the name thing comes in, because I've seen some crazy stuff. And so the kids, whenever they have their name in, they click start. And depending on how many kids I have, the list will start popping up here with all their names. My class averages about 24 kids, so those names will all pop up here. And of course, kids being kids, they figured out that you can customize your background for Quizizz. They click through all that. So that's personally kids' preference. But anyway, so once I have all my kids in on my side of the screen, I will be able to pull up the main Quizizz page here. And I see that everybody would be in, and I would click start. And so it would give them a countdown here, and it would give them a countdown on their computer screen, and then the game will begin, and then until every single turn or ended. So the question comes up, and then of course being math, regular questions, etc. They would try to go through this, and they would have to select the correct one. That one is wrong. It tells them it's incorrect. It gives them a funny name. It goes on, and then the same thing. Giving me free bonuses, and that's when the game element starts coming in. They can share that with other kids in their class, and then I start to move up my leaderboard. And so as I go through this, there's 20 questions that I get to the end to show them. Now on the teacher side of it, I can watch this taking place, and like I said, normally this is what's up on my board. The students can see, and it's going back and forth. As more students get them right, the accuracy changes, etc. And it'll show their points, and it'll start moving up, and it'll show and shuffle as the kids go. The kids really like it. And also from my teacher's perspective, I can see how many kids are getting which questions right, how long it averages to take them to answer that question. Of course, I have to give them the spiel of don't guess, don't try to hurry up and get done. Take your time and do it right. And it'll show me who's been getting them right and who's been getting them wrong. And I can see that, especially up here at the top. Well, a lot of kids are missing number 11. So all the kids finish, or if something happens and I run out of time and the kids are done, I can end the quiz, and then it'll show the top 3 kids. Me being the only person, it's going to just show that there. But it'll show you the top 3 kids, and then it pulls up the results. And so I can see how many kids got which ones right. And so that would obviously show you more percentages based on all the kids that completed the quiz, and then also the questions. And same thing as what that was from the other perspective. And we can review those. So if I see that a lot of kids missed number 11, I can click on this and pull it up for the class and discuss, what a lot of us missed this question. Why did we miss this question, and why are we having a tough time? Well, we picked square yards, it's perimeter, it doesn't have to be squared, et cetera, et cetera. So we can discuss, how that works, why they got it wrong, and we can go through all of this, and we can also go back through it as practice. And so that is just your basic I just pulled up a quiz and went through it. Now, back to the Quizizz, like I said, you can create your own, and I have done that. Also, if I really liked that quiz, I could have saved it. And that's what some of these have done. These aren't necessarily all ones that I've created, but also some that I liked. Like I said, we could do Disney movies and things like that, something that somebody has assigned and I found, I can save it to my library and I don't have to try to keep searching it every time. These are quizzes that I liked, that I've used, and that I like the questions, and I don't want to have to constantly be going back and pulling those up. One of the quizzes that I have created, like this end of year test prep, is questions that I've created that are really in line with the standards, really go with what we're trying to get right at the end of the year. And so I've created this 30 question test, longer time. It's not necessarily so much about points as it is a review that looks fun. Whenever I say Quizizz, the kids think, oh, we're doing something fun. And even though I'm having them do review, they're enjoying doing that. So we work as teams where they can work together and things like that. So I want to create my own quiz, and I would just create the quiz, and I could name it sixth grade math and choose what it's going to be. Again, science, history, social studies, PE. I mean, anything that you want to create this quiz as, it covers everything. And you have different kinds of quiz questions that you can create. You can create a multiple choice question, checkbox, fill in the blank, et cetera, et cetera. So let's just do a basic multiple choice. And let's say I want them to know what's the area of a square with a side length of 4. And so a square has all equal sides. To find the area would be 4 times 4. And so 16 would be the right answer. And so I would want that to be the correct one. And I could do all my different answers here, and it shows me what it's going to look like from their perspective. And it'll show me that as those questions are created. And I just create the next question, the next question, the next question. Now, that is easy, like I said, for me to do because I have all of my options filled in as far as different things that I pull information from. So I just type in the question and type in the options. But the other thing that I can do is look up questions. And so sixth grade math questions. Here's the quiz that I had pulled up earlier, and I can pull questions from that quiz and I can add it straight into my quiz. Now, again, this is where you can pay to upgrade. I don't pay, obviously, to upgrade, but it would allow me to add each question straight into that quiz and prevent me from having to type all these different questions over and over and over again. And then once I get that done, I can publish it, and then it will pull that up into my library. And then I would be able to assign that. I would be able to play it just like I did before. Again, these 3 right here are 3 that I've also created. And I can see how many different people play it. This is open to the public. Anybody can search this, but I can also make it private to where nobody can search it and only play it for us. And so anyway, so this is the results to all my quiz. And now, like I said, I can go back, I can click on reports, and I can see towards the end of the year, we were doing reviews. And so we were reviewing statistical questions, and I can pull up that whenever I had the kids do this, they had 85% accuracy. I can see how well they were doing. I can see which kids struggled, which kids did not. I can click on and see which ones they got right, which ones they got wrong. And that allows me to really see who's really grasped it and who hasn't. And this towards the end of the year, for them to be able to move on to the next quiz, they had to do 80% or better. And so that allowed them to move on. And so they can view the quiz, they can view the flashcards, and they are able to review and go back through and review the ones they got right, the ones they got wrong. So it's a really good tool that they are able to use and be able to utilize to get better at different things. And so that goes through, and it goes through all the different questions, and they can review that again using flip cards. So I highly recommend this tool. I would recommend you going on and trying it out yourself. The best way to learn how to use these is through practicing on your own and then really understanding it yourself, and then start using it in the classroom.